Alright, so this is the breakdown of Mark chapter 14, part 2. So Mark 14 recounts the final events of Jesus' life before his crucifixion, covering his betrayal by Judas, the institution of the Last Supper, Jesus' agony in the Garden of Gethsemane, his arrest by the Jewish authorities, Peter's denial of Jesus, and his trial before the Sheridan. The chapter of meaning lies in its depiction of Jesus' foreknowledge of events, the sacrifices he's willing to make. What an amazing sacrifice it was for us. The failures of his followers and the ultimate victory of the gospel despite opposition and betrayal. I'm not even going there. Key events and their significance. Jesus anointed at Bethany. A woman anoints Jesus with expensive perfume, which he explains is a preparation for his burial and an act of faith that will be remembered globally, unlike the disciples' criticism. Because they sure was mad she used that oil on him, but she did what she was supposed to do, okay? Judas' betrayal. Judas Iscariot arranges to betray Jesus to the religious leaders for money, setting in motion the events of his arrest. I guess that's where it all popped off. Last Supper and prediction of denial. Jesus shares his last meal with his disciples. You know what? Jesus still washed that man's feet, even though he knew he was going to deny him. That's crazy. Okay. Jesus shares his last meal with his disciples, instituting the Lord's Supper, communion, and predicting Peter's denial. And he knew that Judas and Peter was going to do him back, but he still, that's love right there. That is true love. Okay. Garden of Gethsemane. Jesus prays in agony, wrestling with the fate that awaits him while his disciples fall asleep. Arrest and trial. Jesus is arrested, and after a corrupt trial, he is convicted of blasphemy. Y'all know what blasphemy is? That's a sin that can't be forgiven. That's something that God can't forgive you for. And that's what they charged him with. That's what they killed him over. And he's God's son. Peter's denial. Fearing for his life, Peter denies knowing Jesus 3 times, a betrayal that Jesus had predicted, leading him to repentance. Like, if you knew who Jesus was and how he was, and like you was with him, like y'all was twinning him, you denied him 3 times, fearing for your life.